Hello, lovelies. I'm Mrs. B. You're watching Wicked Wednesdays. Today, I'm sipping on some ginger drink. It is fabulous. It is made with ginger extract, ginger powder, it has sugar in it, and as you can tell, I've lost my voice and I'm gradually gaining it back. This is helping. It's fabulous. Very sweet, very spicy. I love the ginger. It has a nice burn to it, if you will. I love it. So, let's get on with today's reading. I'll be using my Druidcraft deck again. You might have noticed I have a few new things on my table here. I have Sandalwood Incense by Charlotte's Mystical Web. It is a powder incense, and it doesn't require charcoal. You just light it and it goes, and it smells amazing. I love sandalwood. Nice earthy, cleansing, wonderful smell. I also have a rose quartz, and it's really good for matters of the heart and for healing. Most of the stones I have are for healing, among other things. I also have a peacock boar. It's also called boarnite, and it's so pretty. But it is also good for healing and also just general happiness. And then I also have selenite. Selenite is wonderful for aura cleansing and space cleansing. It's like, you know how a self-cleaning oven works? That's what selenite does for you, your home, whatever. It's fabulous. So those are some that I like to have, just on hand, just on standby, because A, they are pretty, and B, they actually have some metaphysical properties that kind of help bring balance and goodness to the world. So I thought I'd share those with you. So we're going to get on with our reading today. We've got our Druidcraft. We're going to give these a shuffle to kind of clear the deck. You might hear my dog sniffing around behind you. I'm sorry about that, but he wanted to come in to the reading room, so who was I to deny him that? Here we are on Wicked Wednesday. What will the rest of this week bring? What will the week bring? What's going on this week? What's a general thing we need to know this week? What's going on this week? For some reason, I just got this image of a woman standing by a river or some body of water, and she had purple flowers at her feet. I don't know what that means to any of you, but if it resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Let's see what these cards say. So, we've got our current situation, Princess of Wands. Crossing is Prince of Pentacles, base of the issue, Prince of Cups, near future is Eight of Pentacles, recent past is Eight of Wands, near future is Rebirth, Six of Wands is our situation, Queen of Cups is our advice, Four of Wands is our hopes and fears, and the Hanged Man is our outcome. Okay, so with our Princess of Wands, this usually has to do with kind of gaining a little bit of insight and control. This princess she's a warrior. I get a strong kind of warrior vibe from her. But also a little bit of playfulness as well. And so it's like, yeah, it's all fun and games until she kicks your butt, right? So that's kind of the situation we're dealing with right now. It's like, yeah, things are going pretty well, and and it's all lighthearted and stuff, but when it's time to get serious, it's time to get serious. Prince of Pentacles is usually has to do with being quiet, being centered, reflecting, kind of sitting back and watching things unfold before you decide which action to take. The base of the issue, you've got your Prince of Cups, and that has to do with again getting some kind of control over your emotions. But with the Prince of Cups, there's usually some sadness, some melancholy feelings behind that. You may be dealing with some depression, and you may be kind of getting stuck in that nostalgia and wishing things were the way they used to be, and trying to accept the fact that they're not going to be the way they used to be. But that's not entirely a bad thing. A lot of people get stuck and attached to how it used to be, and how it used to be may not have been healthy. It may have had to just run its course. That's kind of the feeling I get from this card. In the recent past, like we said last week, things have been kind of up in the air. You don't know what is going to happen next, what decision to make, and that's still there. That uncertainty is still part of your past. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to be learning a new skill. I don't know what that new skill is going to be. That new skill might be a coping skill. It might be computer processing. It might be, it could be anything. Some of you might be in school. Some of you might be learning a new trade. But this has to do with learning something new that can benefit you later. But this, a lot of times, is a student's card. So keep that in mind. Also in the near future, and this is like in the next 2 weeks, and this Rebirth card is usually in the next couple of months is usually when this comes about. But you're answering a call. This is a call to do something. They say, teaching, for example, is a calling. Some people believe that being a preacher is a calling. But it's something that you are called to do. you've felt this for a long time, and now is the time to go with it. Answer that call. You know that this is your life purpose, and you need to pursue that. This also has to do with new beginnings. Whenever there is a rebirth, it is starting fresh, starting new. Emerging from your darkness into a new light. There's all kinds of symbolism here, but that's the main thing, is you're answering the call and you're following your life's purpose and you're starting a new beginning. So that's what's coming up in the next couple of months. Get ready. Current situation, you've got 6 of Wands. You might be placed in a leadership type position where people follow you, people look up to you. But you got to be careful with that and make sure that you're not abusing your power. Make sure that you are leading rather than bossing, if that makes sense. The advice is Queen of Cups. This might be an actual person, or this may be just our guides telling us that we need to gain control over our emotions rather than letting the emotions control us. This person does have control of their emotions. They do reflect on their emotions, but they also know where it's coming from, and they know how to harness that and get their point across without hurting people's feelings and without making decisions that are not in their best interest. So that's an important thing to know. The 4 of Wands usually has to do with stability. You may be afraid that things won't be stable. You may be afraid that things might fall apart. With any new beginning, that's always going to be in the back of your mind, is the what ifs. But it's also important to, and this is part of the hopes too, is hoping that things will stay stable so that you can pursue your life's journey. We've also got the Hanged Man as the outcome, and that's usually in the next 3 months. You'll have the Hanged Man, and a lot of times that has to do with accepting whatever comes. But since he's reversed, you may have a bit of difficulty with that. A lot of people have difficulty in adverse situations. But you may be in a situation where you are kind of stuck, and you may have to accept your circumstances until you can find a way either out of the circumstances or a way to improve the circumstances. It's like the Serenity Prayer. Help me to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So that's a good thing to keep in mind as well. Let's see what the bottom card says. The bottom card is the 9 of Swords. And it's reversed, but the 9 of Swords is basically anytime you have nines are like a completion of a cycle. Swords usually have to do with thoughts, whereas cups have more to do with feelings. But you may find yourself kind of worried and kind of not sure about things. Something's on your mind that's that may be affecting your sleep. It may be affecting your daily life. But that's why it's important to try to find balance, try to find some acceptance. Sometimes it might help to, if you're worried about something you don't have, look to what you do have. Start with gratitude. When you start with gratitude, whatever you focus on is what you attract. So it helps to focus on gratitude and things, positive things, in order to draw more positive things to you. This too shall pass. Do not let this worry you. This too shall pass. I'm not really sure who needed to hear this, but I hope that this was helpful to somebody. I'm not really sure what the specifics are. But if it helped you, if it pertained to you in any way, let me know in the comments. So, ladies and gentlemen, that reading told us that things have been up in the air. We've got a new beginning starting. And we've also got a situation coming up where we may have to accept the circumstances as they come. That's life, right? But I hope this reading was helpful to someone. I'm not sure all the details of what it was referring to, but hopefully it was able to bring some insight to you and help you to work through whatever it is you're working through this week. And I will see you next week.